Where's the headphones?
Good morning, fellas. What's happening, man? How's everything?
Life's good. How you feeling?
Good, good.
Oh, my bad. I was looking for my headphones.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Another.
You got hear me all right? All right, just gotta make sure this service is kind of tricky out here.
Man.
Sometimes it's like 100%. Next time it's like you might get cut off right now.
Already.
Boonies has its good spots and it's bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know how it is, man. Out there. Almost the country, huh?
It's almost to Ocean City. Yeah, I live out here with a bunch of farm animals. Like they got like massive farms. I didn't really have such big farms in Maryland. You know, because when you think of farms, you think of like Wisconsin and Idaho and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Maryland got a lot of farmland.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even realize that myself.
Yeah, all our foods, like when we really want to. Actually, most of the time we get our foods from like we get our food straight from the farm. We get it. The meat straight from the cow, the eggs straight from the chicken. You know,
No middleman.
no middleman. You don't have to worry about the contamination.
That's dope. Little Sonny Clark. Sonny's mood off that Body and Soul.
Hey, it's always good to have music. I mean, music is a lot of times the stuff that saves us. Having that good theme music.
No doubt. Nah, that's facts. I just realized that, like, yeah, recently, like that
Everybody got,
be there.
everybody gotta have their theme music. Yeah. Trying to make sure this phone doesn't cut out. Right now, Plain Sight is having problems with his Wi-Fi. But,
Oh man, I hate when that happens. That happen over here too.
you already know how much that happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
Did he send you all the information for the cast today?
Yeah, he did. He sent it over. It was a picture though, so I kind of like just took the title only and posted it already. Yeah, so I put public versus private, part 1, written law versus unwritten law.
Okay. Well, as you always know, all the stuff is for entertainment and education value. If you need a lawyer, you can go talk to an attorney. If it would be in your best interest, all this stuff is to help you educate you on what is going on in the the process of the legal system when you are dealing with the interact time. Um, it's always good to know what's going on. A lot of times we don't have the information necessary to figure things out and to go about things in our own way. Um, Even the practice of law is not something you can be licensed in. It is one of common rights. People don't even know that because you can't actually be licensed lawyer by the state or any state. You can't be a licensed attorney by the state. What you are licensed by is by the Bar Association. It's actually a certification, much like you get certified to be a truck driver or a hairdresser or anything else. It's a certification. It's not you're not licensed. So a neat trick I'm gonna tell you. A good little tidbit is what you can do is can you ask to see your Maryland or whatever state you're in license to practice law. They will never be able to show it because they will always tell you if you actually get an attorney in a bind, and if you get into court, you can say, can I see your are you licensed to practice law in the state of Maryland? Well, almost every attorney will be like, yes, I'm licensed. Well, can we see your Maryland state license to practice law? They can't show it. There's no such thing. And then you can actually ask for the case to be dismissed because he has perjured himself and lied.
Wow.
There's one little thing to get you over while you're trying to master, the language and learn the words themselves, what their true meaning is.
Yes, sir.
I bet you didn't know Brock.
Say that again.
I bet you didn't know that.
Nah, I didn't. That was hot right there. He just said it. Hey, man, y'all taking turns today.
Yo.
There you go. All right. There you go. Nah, man,
Yeah,
I don't know that at all, bro. That's a way to get it over with quick. Let's get up out of here.
Oh man. Yeah, like I said, it's those little things that you learn over time that really annoy a lot of attorneys. It's when you learn stuff that they don't want you to know. Like the whole title of this, cast and this statements that we talk about is the hidden Black's Law, because this is the law, as written by defined in the Black's Law Dictionary, which is the most widely used law dictionary in the whole entire entire world. It's not even a country because they use it in Australia, Canada, England. They use it pretty much a lot of places where there is any kind of a Roman
Western influence.
Yeah.
Yo. Hey. So
That's cool.
So you remember that joint we took down? I really needed to. I remember we were supposed to start the cast with it because it was John, like a heavy quote that you put me onto yesterday.
It's in the
we kind of. Oh, yeah, I sent it in the joint, but I snapped an image of it, so I don't think it's in the. It's not up there right now.
It's right here on the notes. It seems dress was Aarons.
Oh yeah, that's the joint. Oh wow, I'm not saying but
it's right. The practice of law, which we were just talking about, I just happened to be talking about it. I didn't even see this. The practice of law is practice of law is an occupation of common right. It is not because of what appears to be lawful commands on the surface. It's because of the respect for what appears to be law are cunningly coerced into waiving their rights due to ignorance.
Yeah, that's like the no pun intended. No pun intended. That's like the maxim of our purpose here, of like why we're running this cast, like embodied in text.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite quote, my favorite maximum law is anything in law that has never been outlawed is good law.
Yeah.
And when they talk about, oh, we wrote this, so it was done so many years ago, and that was back in whatever year, time frame, it doesn't even matter because that is the law. And until you do something to remove that law, that will always be the law. So you can say whatever you want to. It's still a law.
Yeah, it's funny because that citations of Sims versus Ahelms actually comes from 1925. I mean, look at it right now. It's 2021. It's almost 100 years ago that's being cited from. But look at how that joint's got your back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a major maxim, though. Anything that's in law that's never been outlawed is good law. Like, that's so important. Like, oh, that's old. That doesn't apply. No, it absolutely applies. Until overturned by some other, citation, that law is in effect.
That's crazy, man. Just with that said, I was talking to my brother the other day, and I was like, yo, like, we need like amendments and like law changing, you know what I mean, to like make things happen, man. And then I get on here this morning and you say that, man, I'm definitely gonna show him that this video already off the break. I was like, this is what I was talking about right here. If it hasn't been, it's good law, brother.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that are a law that they try to pass off compliant or what's the word, out of date or moved from the legal system. And now you got to remember, anytime you talk about the legal system, you're talking about statute law, all right? And statute law is definitely a law that uses statutes rather than constitutions or judicial decisions. So it doesn't use the Constitution, and it doesn't use the actual law that's been written down that says you can't do this to another man. All it does is use pretty much legislative law. Legislative law is technically not law at all, because there's no such thing as legislative law.
Yeah.
But that goes into the whole, what we talked about, color of law. Color of law is synonymous with state action. State action is anything done by government. So if anything done by government is color of law, well, color of law has always been told to us as, pretending that something's legal and lawful, and it's not. So if that's everything done by government, what does that tell you? It tells you none of it's law.
Yo, and I take it back to that thing. Someone posted it simply enough in like one of those things I seen floating around on Facebook, but they were just like, slavery was legal, the Holocaust was legal. Legality doesn't confer the righteous aspect of something or whether it's just. But I mean, it's as simple as that. If you don't understand your ability to advocate for yourself within the legal system, you're subject to. You pretty much have entered the realm of U.S. citizen, and that's how we get into more so on another level, the legal versus lawful aspect of all the things you see occurring here in society.
Yeah. The best way to put it is, as we said already, is private versus public. You know, legal lawful is two separate things. They do not coexist at all. Um, and you have to try to get into the mindset that everything that is happening on a general, regular basis has nothing to do with law at all. It always have to do with legal system. It's literally called a legal system. There's no such thing as called a law system. It's called a legal system. Because law system, there's no such thing. If you say this is law, then the only thing men are bound by is natural law. There's no contractual agreement that is mandatory that I have to abide by that somebody made up.
You know, it's funny you should mention that, like law versus legal system. And I was watching this thing. It was actually about ancient Greek, basically. Not maxims, but phrases that they lived by in that society. And one of them was the idea that, oh, don't be so wrapped up in the verbose nature of your words, like being so concerned about big words here and there. The shortest words in our language have the most power to them. You know, yes, no, and I'd like to also introduce into that conversation law. 2-letter words, the shortest words confer the most power. So be direct with your wording, not so concerned with how broadly your ability to use words is. Make sure to use the limited words in a very efficient capacity. And I thought that was pretty poignant.
Another one that always gets me is when you ask them what law says you can do this. They'll try to rattle off some statute or code. They'll say code 0.615 of the commercial code. They'll literally tell you 0.61 whatever. You just told me it was commercial code, and then tell me that is the law. Oh, come out your mouth at all. I heard commercial code. Commercial code seems is his business, and I don't have a contract with you, so what law? They can't tell you law. They can tell you commercial code. They can tell you statute. They'll say too. They'll be like, "Oh, statute says this law says." I didn't ask you for that. I asked you what's the law that says you can do that.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because I love that we have this understanding of the main pivot that really controls interactions with these people in the color state authority, which is pretty much, is this a crime? Because it now gives them a legal, in their words, it gives them some sort of reference to say, hey, has this crossed into this level of tort where you suddenly have conferred this level of authority onto my life? And it kind of really draws the line in the sand for that interaction that you're having. Which actually, funny enough, I just chanced upon the perfect legal citation. So here we go. Shuttlesworth versus Birmingham. Persons faced with an unconstitutional licensing law which purports to require a license as a prerequisite to exercise of any right may ignore the law and engage with impunity in exercise of such right. So, to your point, Google.
Yeah, you can't license life. That's what it really boils down to, is you can't license life. They'll tell you all day they can't.
That's why they love to use that term privilege.
If you say, they'll say you were driving down the street, or I was traveling down the street. Well, you can't drive down the street. Well, I can travel without one. I can travel anywhere I want to. My personal property does not include any kind of licensing requirement or insurance requirement. It's just like your house. You can get a house without homeowners insurance. You can get anything. You can get boat without boaters insurance. it might be detrimental to you in the long run. You know, your house might burn down, or you might catch a flood. You might flood out, or you know, your boat might catch on fire or whatever. But at the same time, you don't have to do it. There's no
It
such
is
thing
your
as no
right.
law that makes you. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it mandatory. Um, to go even one further, um, anything that you use in your private capacity um, is yours and yours alone. You do not have to allow anyone the ability to use because you have no contract with them. I can't. You know, if somebody comes to my house and is like, "Yeah, I need your car," it's not a public car. You can't just take my car because you feel like it,
Oh,
because it's
uh,
part of your private property. It's mine and mine alone. Um, if you, like we said, we've went over this further. We've been over this multitude of times, but we just want to rehash it to make sure everybody understands. You know, it was even stated that um, that how an automobile is an extension of your house if you use it in a private capacity. It's used just for you to going back and forth. You know, groceries, picking up the kids, um, going to the gym and back, traveling down the road. If you feel like going, you know, just taking a drive, as they say. But it's also traveling. If you just decide to travel one day, let me see this great country, as they say. Um, None of
hey,
that requires a license.
so hey, Google, man, you sound crazy. You sound like you're rabid. You're just saying wild, random, accusatory things that no one could ever verify or back up with any sort of like authority on the matter. Like you would never catch an agent of the state repeating what you just uttered. I promise you. Wait a minute. Hey, Vok.
Yeah,
Yo, we got a video we can run right quick.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, one thing that I've been
Because all
told many
that.
a time that nobody would ever say. No law enforcement agent, no judge, nobody in government would ever say
Yeah, no,
that a car is an extension of your house. Nobody would ever say that.
definitely nobody state sponsored. No state sponsored force or representative would ever utter such a thing to you because they obviously don't abide by that. I mean, it would be in clear contradistinction into what as to what they do. That would make it seem like they engage in fraud or something like that. I don't know. I don't want you going off the rails here, but
You know, that's talking about like that's saying they need a warrant to search my car or to ask me to step out.
for anything involving your car because they recognize it as your private property and not a publicly commercial vehicle. It was almost like they would acknowledge public versus private if the situation behooves them to do so, which is very weird because I mean that would sound like a fraud to me. I got you. Give me
Yeah, you know, like
one
what's
second.
what's the saying? He was like, I don't do this all the time, but keep the party going.
I got you, my friend. I got you, bro. Hey, I'm gonna shoot it to you. You'll have it,
All right.
bro. This joint right
Remember
here
we just
is
talked about. Remember we just talked about how I've been. This has been stated. This is what attorneys have said to me. This is what have you know, regular people on the internet who don't know anything about the legal law, have never opened up a law dictionary in their life.
right.
People who
These
have
are the
gone about
people.
their whole entire life, going about their whole entire life, exactly what the state has told them to say, who do not believe anything besides what they have been told to say. They've never read a book on it. But because someone at some point told them in their life that this is how it is, they have ran with it for their whole entire life. So when
Uh,
I or plain sight cites actual law, law definition of words, terminology, of what is factual, what is tangible, they will tell you all the time, this has never happened ever in a lifetime. It never will happen. you people are crazy. They'll call you what's the word? Sovereign citizen. That's term they like.
Coining imaginary phrases for imaginary conditions.
Yeah. So it's they will say it all day, every day about these imaginary things from imaginary people who told them imaginary words. But
Right.
like I said, but this is just yeah. This video is just to clarify and to put it out there unequivocally. So excuse me. To put this in plain sight, as they say. So you can Google it, and then it can be in plain sight for you.
Oh man.
This is the facts of life. Facts of life ain't as what you've been told. It's two different things. We got to start singing show tunes and stuff, talking about facts of life.
It's so wild because state agents and authorities, or quote unquote authorities, if you choose to allow them to be authorities over you, are in such ready position to understand the things that we're explaining here. It's so apparent to them, but they know it's not to you. You literally Google here, he brought up, the language used for big rig truckers, where when you're off the clock but you're still traveling in a vehicle which is commercial, but if you're off the clock, you can always note to any officer or any cop who talks to you that, hey, I'm on personal conveyance time. Although my vehicle is public, I am now in my private capacity. Those rules don't apply with me. We can't engage in this way. And they have a way of talking to truckers where this is noted and like plain, this is common occurrence in their industry. But it's not common to you. Because, you're to be treated like a commercial driver without being able to advocate for your rights because you don't know any better, dumbass. I'm sorry. I digress.
Oh.
Yeah, don't let people with small minds control what your basis of knowledge. They're in a slave-minded mindset, and you shouldn't allow that to extend to yourself.
Not at all.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Bet.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that 14th Amendment.
Oh, when they let slavery back in through the back door?
That's a whole different cast. That's a whole different cast.
It really is. Slavery's gone. Remix.
Audit the audits, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers the right to privacy, witnessing the crime, and private property.
Oh, you only need a minute and 30 seconds of this bad boy.
From below and give them the credit that they deserve. In the original two-part series, posted on December 31st.
If you go to 40 seconds,
and first
to a minute 30. 40 seconds, minute and 30 seconds.
He claims that the vehicle is
correct, but the film.
40. Oh, he was about to spit it right there.
Oh man.
40 seconds.
What's that? Can you go stand back over where you work for me, sir?
There's something wrong with being here?
Yes, sir, there is. I don't want you to be in direct line with that vehicle. I'd like for you to go back to where you were standing. You can continue filming all you'd like, but I don't want you right here.
Am I interfering?
Well, technically, now you're starting to pose into somebody else's private property with your videoing. Yes, sir. Hey, did they give you permission to film inside their truck?
I don't need permission on public.
In public? In somebody's vehicle?
I don't need permission on public.
No, not to film us. You're correct. But to film inside somebody's vehicle, that's an extension of their house, and that is a private place. So you do need somebody's permission to film inside their vehicle.
But is that a crime?
That's it.
That's it. My man just snitched on the whole operation.
Yeah, he closed that thing down for him.
Killed the whole industry.
He said it is private property, extension of your house.
Just like that. Live.
Oh yeah, we regularly engage in fraud, but it's not convenient to play that card game right now. So we're gonna play a different game. We're gonna tell the truth this time because it benefits us.
That's crazy.
That's all you need. That's all you need. He said, literally extension of your house. What do they need to get into your house? What do they need to search your house?
Oh, that thing needs to be rubber sealed. Exactly. It needs to be stamped, certified, and you got the right to check it. You need to have a judge's signature. Warrants need to be ironclad. They don't like that shit.
So, what we just talked about is exactly what he confirmed. He confirmed it. He didn't say it. All we just told you was law, and then the law enforcement agent confirmed it. That he didn't say anything else. He just told you what the law is. And what happened? Now everything's been confirmed. That everything is literally a confirmation of anything that's been said as far as all those crazy people, quote unquote, sovereign citizens, that your automobile is an extension of your house.
You know what's funny about it though? He couldn't turn off his cop coding because he always kept making sure to refer to it as a vehicle, which I actually find hilarious because he converted the rights of an automobile onto a vehicle, quote unquote. I mean, he knows what it is, right? See, so a vehicle only means that literally at the point at which it's involved in commercial activity, and they understand that. So they'll just play the game to you and try to lock you in their legal language. But it really wouldn't even matter as long as you recognize that you're a private person. You're a private man or woman, and you're, in your conveyance from point A to point B. It doesn't, it's a household effect. At that point, it doesn't matter what the language is. We all know it's property, and it's your property.
Wow.
So even the word games don't work if you know better or know well enough.
Amazing.
So those are things that when we talk about law, we always try to talk about the wording, right? Everything about us has always been definitions, how they apply, practical application. That right there is an example of practical application. That is an example of application you can actually use in the courtroom because it's been said by a cop, by a law enforcement agent. This is what the law is. So unless somebody can refute the law with something else, I don't know what you can refute the law with, but unless somebody can refute the law, that's law.
Hey, can we say it one more time? Because this is from 1925. The practice of law is an occupation of common right. Still in fact. 2021. So when you try to make it the job of an attorney, why they're paying you, why you're paying that much, man, your retainers be insane. It costs you $80 for your lawyer to have a 10-minute conversation with the other lawyer. So that's running game. They're paying you you're paying the dummy tax because you didn't learn how to practice. You didn't learn practice of the law, application of the law. You didn't learn and understand law. So now you got to pay this attorney to practice law at a rate that's astronomical.
Wow.
But it's literally a common right, and pretty much that means it's your occupation. It's your job.
That's deep. That is your duty.
There it is.
It is literally your duty to understand the law. That's the thing. No one ever tells you can't. So they'll tell you all day you got to go to law school. You always have to remember, an attorney is not a lawyer. An attorney deals with statutes, deals with statutory law. They don't deal with anything but. Plain sight, and we're having a conversation yesterday about how. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna put it like this, right? If you go to a mechanic, you give him your car to fix, and then you start, telling him about, the problems of the car and how it can be fixed, and you tell him, you give him the way to fix it, your car, and at the same time, like, I seen your car, I looked at your car, I don't do it. You know what? You know more about the car than me. You should go ahead and fix it. Right? How would you feel if you go to a mechanic and he told you, you know what? You know more about this car than me. You should go ahead and fix it because you're better at this. You're much better at this.
Yeah, mind you, the mechanic is licensed.
What did you go to a mechanic for? You'd be pissed off.
Absolutely.
You'd be pissed off. Now, I had a situation where I went to an attorney because I didn't feel like dealing with it. We got into a discussion about the case. And during that, he says, you know what? I said, we were talking about law. And he brought up that, yeah, that's the old law. And I said, anything that's in law that has never been outlawed is good law. And that's a maximum law, correct? And he was like, yeah, but you know more about law than I do.
Wow.
So at that point, I didn't know what to do at that point because I'm like, well, this man is telling me I'm pretty much dead in the water. Because this man tells me I know more about law than he does.
Right.
How is he supposed to help me if I know more than him?
Right. Wow. Wow. How can you depend on him to help you? Right.
It's like, man, I get one job.
Hey, as long as this joint is about written law versus unwritten law, I'd just like to refer once again back to the UCC. I mean, I know we covered this once in a previous episode, but I just wanted to note that UCC 9-109 has a part 1 and a part 2 that literally goes over the idea of equipment versus consumer goods, because we got to remember, like, literally talking about, down the middle, the two worlds of, when you're in the public sphere and when you're in your private capacity. That's basically the larger idea behind this cast today. We're going to keep digging into this to give you a bigger picture of literally how these two paths diverge, and understanding when you're in, you remember when we originally, like, a while back, we were talking about standing on your square, not to allude too much into where that comes from, but the idea of understanding where you actually are in the courtroom or on the chessboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's about not trespassing into the other realm. As long as you're firmly on your path, you can't really be nudged off it. So you got to understand what it is to be a private man in a society that wants you to accept being a public figure. And if you're not ready to defend that stance in a courtroom, you're largely, as the Google stated, you're largely dead in the water. Because the public plays by rules that guarantee you lose the game.
You said maritime law?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Admiralty maritime. Legislative law, if you will. That's stuff that's rather than.
Dead in the water.
Mm-hmm. Rather than. Not law, the other stuff. Law alternative. I'm gonna pass.
Law light.
Wow.
Law like products. I know how business works.
That's incredible.
Yeah, avoid those law like
so,
products.
if we go into the private capacity, right? The private capacity, the little breakdown is this, right? It's universal law, because you got universal law. You have natural law, the only thing that man is prescribed to, just by birth. Those laws. Then you have common law, the unwritten law, where I didn't do anything to you, and you didn't do anything to me. Why are we even in? We're in no contract. We don't have anything to do with each other. My property is not your property. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
There's no controversy.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. We agreed to this, that you are you and I am me. And then we have constitutional law. Yeah, all rule over ourselves. And then constitutional law is, basically upholds that previous statement that, this man and this man have no controversy, as you say. And we are not going to deal with those individuals because those are maxims of law that we cannot go against. Right? The Constitution actually upholds your rights. People think the Constitution is your rights. It tells you what your rights are. No, it doesn't do any of that. It just upholds them.
It just states it for the record.
It states it for the record. It's not stronger than. It doesn't create them. It just upholds them. Those things were there before the Constitution was written. Literally, those things were there before the Constitution. I couldn't kill you. That didn't have anything to do with the Constitution. That was just law. That was the human nature, law of nature. You kill me, I die. That's law of nature. Those things were there long before any Constitution was written. If I wanted to go somewhere, I just went. I didn't need a license. I didn't need someone to tell me. There was no government. If I wanted to go somewhere, I just went. If I had a way of getting there, whether it be a horse and buggy, whether it be a steam train that I bought, whether it be an automobile, there was not even automobile.
You don't know having to Google, but yeah, as he was stating, historically, there's always been a right to travel the land, and the government has never been in control of such ability. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Like we were just talking about, the whole, signal just cut out for a second. But there were no automobile laws. When automobiles were created, there were no automobile laws. So you can't say that you have to abide by a law that came after. You can't. There's no law that you can write that negates what law was already there, that I can do this without you.
Right. Wow.
And all those are law of the land. Those are that considered law of the land, right? Because all those things are agreed upon the land. I can run anywhere I want to. I can go about my business and day as I please. I don't need you in my life. You don't make my life go. My life was my life before you even thought of.
Mm-hmm. Which is so weird. The way they not weird. It's perfectly understandable from their position. The way that they manipulate and almost, I really wanted to use the word mutilate contract law. Oh, they really do, because it reminds me of a situation I was telling Google that I had recently encountered with a certain wireless service provider who will go unnamed. But they had pretty much had a 2 stipulation contract and try to create a 3rd stipulation without noting it in the contract. And I had to come and holler at them real quick. So you'll probably hear more about that in the weeks coming. But that's basically, in a nutshell, that's what you're involved with these entities that you have to interact with here. So you got to be really abreast of, being able to state where you stand with some degree of confidence. And as you can see, there's so much in the law that gives you that confidence, so people can stop running around scared of fictitious creatures that don't have the control they purport themselves to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everyone has people. I don't think people realize that all government people who are paid, all public employees, right? They have no control over you. simply because they are public employees. You pay them to do their job.
They're literally called public servants.
They're called public servants. So I don't know what job you've ever been in where the locally can tell the owner of the company what to. Like, I've never seen that where someone's just a stalker. Say he works at a grocery store as a stalker. When have you ever been able to go into that stalker and the owner come by and you be like, you know what, I'm gonna need you to finish my job for me. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and clock out because I gotta talk to you. What? The owner's gonna look at you stupid, and then you're gonna get fired.
Right.
What we do that on
As
a daily basis? We do that every day. Every day we do that. And that goes into what I want to talk about next. The lower part that we're supposed to be talking about too is the law of the sea. Anytime you deal with government, it is admiralty law, it is commerce law, it is contract law, right? Corporations. It's all dealing with corporations and contracts. That's the only thing government can deal with: corporations and contracts. Yet people every day will allow themselves to be considered a corporation or a fictional entity and then take whatever punishment that fictional entity gave them. You know, there's a quote, I've done this before, I said it before, where, you know, a Supreme Court judge was like, and prison is there voluntarily. And you got to actually try to grasp that concept. You are taking on the corporations punishment. You're taking on the corporation's punishment as your own. They have filed grievances against the corporation. What you said, you know what? Don't punish my company. I'm gonna do it. That's like a company filing for bankruptcy and be like, you know what? Forget my company's bankruptcy. Just take my money.
It's really sad, dog, because when you put it like that, it's literally like you're putting your driver's license on the stand. They convict your driver's license, and then they put you behind bars to take the
because you take it for them. You take the hit. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's not even what it seems like. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're physicalizing paper transactions. Which hints at the thing I was talking about the other day about people hoarding gold, and now all of a sudden everything operates on a system of notes. Contract law. So, you know, I had somebody try to shame me for being a hypocrite because I had mentioned owning a couple shares of Halliburton stock or whatever. It's like, man, you always talking about the people, you know, the war machine and how you don't like this aspect of our government, and yet you own Halliburton stocks. You're such a hypocrite. All I could think was, did you pay your taxes? Yo, get out of my face. Anyways, I know we're about to wrap it. Just an anecdote for you.
Hey, that's nice, man. That's nice, man. Well, man, hey, another great show, man. Another great points, great topics, man. You guys go look up those laws, man. Go look up those case studies, and y'all tap in, man. I mean, we doing this for y'all, man. We doing this for the people. Hidden Blacks Law, man. Overstanding your rights, man. Knowing your laws, codes, statutes, and what doesn't apply to you, you know, and how to be free and make it home, you know. And
we do it because we love you. As I said, we do it because we love you.
Labor of love.
Simple as that.
Absolutely, man. And we'll be back next Tuesday, man, to talk about it again, to share again. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Plain Sight. Thank you, Google. And
no problem.
We love you guys. Yep. Peace.
All right, peace.
Peace.